Part 1 of this video focuses on the conceptual framework presented in the ebook, The Shape of Knowledge. It explains how knowledge is transmitted through the creation and sharing of knowledge artifacts, or notefacts, and that the shape of these notefacts should reflect the types of relationships found in the knowledge being conveyed. It covers 3 best practices for knowledge shaping: picking the best shape for the expert knowledge, pruning the knowledge to fit the current context, and delivering the solution in the simplest form possible. Today, we have a new type of knowledge artifact that executes these best practices very effectively. That artifact is an application, or an app. The only problem is, while most knowledge authors could write a book or shoot a video, only highly trained specialists, software developers, can create an app. Part 1 closes with the idea that individuals and small organizations have important knowledge to share, and that they too should have the opportunity to embed their knowledge in an application they can share with the world. This video is about how to create that opportunity by automating the knowledge-shaping best practices. This can be achieved by creating an environment, a knowledge authoring environment, that identifies useful, reusable knowledge patterns and provides tools for generating applications that follow the best practice principles. Now, what do I mean by a knowledge pattern? I define it as 2 or more well-defined knowledge artifacts that together provide the expert knowledge necessary to create a solution. Those notefacts might be trees, they might be data tables, they might be maps. It all depends on the type of solution you want to create. This knowledge authoring environment would help experts decide what type of application is best for delivering the type of knowledge they want to share. It would tell them which notefacts are required to create that kind of application. Then it would provide easy-to-use tools for creating the necessary notefacts, guaranteeing the knowledge is captured in the right form. Then knowledge authors would input the notefacts into an apparator, a software generation tool that uses the predefined notefacts to create web applications that can run on any device, including mobile devices. These web apps will transform the expert knowledge into customized solutions for users. When users run the applications, they'll be asked the context questions necessary to hone the expert knowledge to fit the user's needs, and then the results will be delivered in the simplest form possible. The knowledge of what questions to ask and how to refine the solution based on the context will be part of the knowledge documented in the notefacts created by the knowledge author, but this will all be done without writing any computer code. It's possible only because the shapes of the knowledge collection and delivery notefacts are predefined, and the app generator has been written to process and create those shapes. Let's look at an example of how this works. The type of app that's being created in this example is what I'm calling a recommender app. This is a very simple application that asks a few context questions and then makes a recommendation. Since I'm going to be the expert in this example, I'll be making recommendations about what's the best type of notefact to create given a knowledge author's goals. My intent is to embed this knowledge artifact recommender in the Apprentice Systems website. A recommender app requires 2 notefacts to build, but I like to start with a 3rd artifact just to help me get my thinking straight. I start with a classification tree that contains all of the possible recommendations. In this case, I started with a tree of every type of notefact I could think of, all sort of writings, drawings, applications, networks, models. It took a lot of thought to decide how to group these into meaningful classes and subclasses. I used a tool we've developed called NoteShare to build this classification tree. It's a very easy to use, intuitive tool that's available on our website. At the leaves of the tree are all of the specific possible recommended notefacts, books, maps, scale drawings, and so on. I moved on from this optional classification tree to create the two required notifacts, a context decision tree and a data table that contains the options. For the data table, I used Microsoft Excel. Each leaf in my classification tree became a row in my table. For example, map is a row in the table. The data table contains more than just the name of the notifact. I can add any attributes to the data that I want. I decided I'd incorporate Aristotle's 4 causes. So I added information about each type of notifact's intent, materials, shape, and process. If you were creating a recommender for televisions, for example, you could add attributes like screen size, price, and brand. The other required notifact is a context decision tree. This is a tree that contains the branching and the questioning you want in your recommender, and the links between the context and the actual recommendation that's finally made. This type of tree is also easy to build using NoteShare. The files saved from Excel and the ones saved in NoteShare are input to the recommender apparator. And a recommender app is generated and saved as a separate page in the website. It becomes a web app accessible to any device that has a web browser. When someone uses the app that's created, in my case the Notifact recommender, they're taken through a wizard-like interface that asks the context questions contained in the context decision tree. Each question and answer triggers a follow-on question based on the structure of the tree. Look at this series of questions. It reflects a single path through a decision tree that I created in minutes in NoteShare, and it could be updated or changed just as easily. The apparator has been designed to take in a NoteShare file and create this wizard automatically, no coding required. This particular branch of my context tree is 3 levels deep, but it could have just as easily been 10 levels deep. The apparator knows how to process a tree shape, and as long as you give it a tree, it can create a wizard that executes it. Then, when the wizard has collected the necessary information, it delivers the recommendation in a simple form. We call this a baseball card. It has a single recommendation. In this case, it says the knowledge author should create a map. But it also provides information about the attributes documented in the database. I have an example of another recommender in my book. It's the beach town recommender, and in that example, I also included a picture of the beach town and a link to a tourist information website as part of my baseball card. If you were to build a recommender, it could have as many options and attributes as you want to provide. The apparator knows how to process the square shape. It's up to you how many rows and columns are in that square. The recommender is just one of many possible knowledge patterns that can be identified and codified. There are several others covered in the shape of knowledge, and as Apprentice Systems develops new apparators, they'll be available on our website along with NoteShare as a general tree building tool. As more patterns are identified, more people with valuable knowledge will be able to create custom web apps that they can then share with others. If you're interested in learning more about the shape of knowledge, you can read my ebook on the topic or visit our website at www.apprenticesystems.com to see how we use these ideas to build applications that provide real-world solutions. The shape of knowledge provides a mental framework for others to modify and challenge. If it encourages people to see knowledge artifacts in a new and different way, or to ask questions they might not have asked before, I will have accomplished my goals as a knowledge author.